Story number 3. Should President Trump be impeached? Now, it's sad that we had to come to this point, but getting people to understand why the story made it to the top 8 is pivotal. It's sad watching the game of politics being played this way. But what you're seeing in Washington is no different than what you probably may be seeing in a city government that is fed up, and where you see people or voters trying to get the attention of the world. And I think the Trump's legacy is not only how he's handled the business of Washington, but how he's handled the business of the American people. Now, I cannot delegitimize the left or the right. I have to stay in the middle. Now, when you have former candidates like John Kasich saying that Trump should be impeached for abuse of power, these are just talking points. Then you have how many Americans are not happy with Trump's Syria move. Then you look at the fact that the president has ties with a lot of countries, and the fact that he's mixed business with the business in Washington. These are facts. And the fact that he's lied on several occasions while doing news conferences, and the fact that he's made the media the enemy of not only the people, but he's put them on blast in several interviews. And I'm not discrediting this president's ability to draw crowds or to stir up the pot. What I'm saying is, as a professional, there are rules of engagement. Even as practicing the faith my entire life and understanding other types of religious law, I know that some things are it's often better to what they say, serve with some type of dignity and respect rather than tarnish the image of the religion or faith that you represent. Now, there are many sides to this story, and story number 3 is unique because we're looking at the president of the United States, who has basically changed the style of what a president can do in the Oval Office. Now, this has nothing to do with Democrats or Republicans. This is the fact that the nation was founded. If you look at the founding documents, that means I cannot discredit the Democrats for their amount of service, and I can't discredit the Republicans. I'm looking at the behavior and the ability, the fact that if these laws were not put in place, how far this president probably would even be more able to go, if that's the best way to put it. And that's what story number 3 is all about, and that's why it made it to the top 8. Now, when you talk about impeachment, these are questions that we have to ask ourselves as a country. If the nation was founded on principles where people have the opportunity to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and the fact that it talks about balancing powers, these things are what people are looking at in the fact of this administration. Ex-Special Ops Commander says our republic is under attack from the president. Then they had some stories that surfaced about, is Trump melting down? Then there was another story that surfaced in about how Erdogan threw Trump's I guess this is a leader from the Turkish government, how he threw Trump's letter in the trash, where Trump said, "Don't be a fool." Now, either this president knows what he's doing, or he doesn't know what he's doing. Either he's a genius or he's not a genius. There are just some things that common sense people are looking at. Now, the right often thinks that liberals are stupid or they don't understand certain things. Being from a different type of environment, I can understand that street knowledge may not comprehend with higher intellect, but street knowledge is almost like intellect, where you have you can understand BS, or what the president would use as the actual words. Now, some of these people can be labeled as liberals. Some of them will be labeled as stupid. Some of them will be labeled with no common sense. But even people who eat bread and water every day, or you can call them sheeps in the church, there comes a point where they can understand the behavior of a wolf, or they will have to defend themselves. And what you see happening in story number 3 is you're seeing the fact that people who have been labeled as a lower form of life, who have just been eating bread and water, or may not have a 9 to 5 job, or may have been eating or constantly milking the cow, as most would say. These people still see something different in the styles of leadership. Some of these people even see it in the styles of leadership with Obama. If I were not joking with you, if I were not being serious, I would not be telling you this. I've talked to all different types of people about each style of presidency, and people who are not well read will tell you that they don't trust politicians, and that's what makes story number 3 unique, is because some of them don't even trust the businesses that they shop at. And we're looking at a president who looks to be gaming the system, and people with street knowledge, with higher intellect. I hear these stories, I hear this talk, and they want to, some of them ask the question is, should Trump be impeached? Now, when you've got high-level officials inside of the government saying that this president should be impeached, if you have politicians who have went to the grave serving this country saying that, then maybe something is wrong in Washington. And it is very, very shocking to see how everybody is so divided on these key issues. And it will be shocking to see how the next election turns out, when you have everybody who has been in the cookie jar, and the American people looking for some form of stable leadership, and some form of getting their money's worth out of their taxpayer dollars. If you enjoy the show, if you are enjoying the show in Washington, then this story may not be for you. If you enjoy getting in heated arguments with people you love, losing friends at the dinner table, not having any people around during Christmas time or the holiday season period, if you don't celebrate Christmas, then story number 3 may not be for you. But if you are a real thinker, and you think for yourself, an independent thinker, and you really have an understanding of how people are to respond, you keep an eye, you're well read, the story number 3 may be for you. Other than that, that's why I made it to the top 8, because I hate to see a president or anybody who gets voted in office of any kind have to answer to impeachment trials. But story number 3, I really don't know what to say, has been going on in Washington. I'm very saddened to hear people are very discouraged about this administration, and not just this administration, but I don't ever think anybody will be ever satisfied with any leader we ever get. But story number 3 has the inkling, and it has the tickle of the what they say, the conscious mind. It can tickle your imagination, it can tickle your conscience, and it can definitely tickle your political what they say, urges to get your political appetite to get in the conversation about who is the better candidate. That's why story number 3 topped its way in. Should Trump be impeached? You're in the meeting with me, Brian Westwood. It's my duty every week to find you the stories that are happening, and the stories that are interesting. If you want to be a contributor, it doesn't take much. I'm in here day and night, navigating the news, reading book after book, reading story after story, navigating over 200 stories a week, finding out about Watergate, finding out about what president did what, who tapped whose phone. I'm all over the place. I'm in other countries' conversations, listening in to the news outlets, finding out who's talking about what. I'm not nosy. I'm just doing what I can do for the greater good of the public, and that's keep you informed. So if you want to be a contributor and help out, doesn't take much. I'm just doing what I said I would do, and that's navigate and keep you informed. So if you want to be a contributor, just realize that I'm just in the middle. The news and the journalists, the people on the front lines, they deserve all the credit. So if you want to be a contributor, help out anyway, METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, method80.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or to sponsor a program. You can also check out the stories that almost made it in, or the stories that did make it in, for your own news appetite. If you want to check out the website, check out the stories that almost made it in, the stories that did make it in. That's METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, method80.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or to sponsor a program. Everything in town.
If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.